Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, An Insight. Episode-94. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we were listening to the conversation that held between Sainath Maharaj and Dashganuji at Dwarakamai regarding the doubts of Dashganu Maharaj on the commentary that he penned down based on Ishavashya Upanishad titled as Ishavashya Bhavarta Bodhini, and Baba conferred his blessings upon Dashganu and affirmed thus: when you return from where you had come here, there Gaga's maidservant will clarify your doubts easily. Who could be this Gaga? Because Baba would address many devotees as Gaga, and owing to his motherly love for the devotees, he always kept a nickname for each of them and liked to call them by those names. Gaga also means uncle, and when we read Sri Sai Satcharitra, at many instances we have come across the name Gaga Sahib Dikshit, the most ardent devotee of Baba, and his original name is Hari Sitaram Dikshit, and Baba would also address him as Gaga. Usually, by whatever name Baba calls a person, that becomes their name in the later years. Though Baba was an incarnation of the Parabrahman, he mixed with the devotees like that of a normal person, and this is one of the greatest virtues of Baba. In fact, Baba had a unique way of naming each person. He named Gaga Sahib Dikshit as Langada Kaka, which means the one who limps at times. As we know, when Hari Sitaram Dikshit was in England, he had an accident due to which his leg was injured. Despite repeated surgeries and treatments, the injury was not cured. He had a limp which impeded free movement and made him look awkward, but when he met Nana Sahib Chandorkar, who assured that Sainath Maharaj can cure his lameness, Hari Sitaram Dikshit shared his concern thus: lameness of the body does not matter much, and wanted to rather cure the lameness of his soul. Let us not have a wrong notion that Baba kept some random names for the devotees. They all had a very deeper inference. At times, Baba would call him as Bhikshu, which means a person who begs for his needs. Sometimes Hari Sitaram was called by the name Bombaya Kaka, as he resided in Bombay. Now let us quickly glimpse through certain nicknames that Baba had kept for few of his devotees, which later became a title and was lovingly held. Gaga Mahajani was called as Bade Kaka, which means big man, and his original name was Lakshman Ganesh Mahajan. Nana Sahib Nimonkar was called as Matare Kaka. Sagun Meru Nayak was the one who had a tea shop adjacent to Dwarakamai, was called as Taki. Taki denotes a fraud. Till today, none knew why he was called so. Madhavrao Deshpande, alias Shama, was known as Bhattacharya Shama. Tatya Kote Patil as Kotyacha Kotmukaya, which roughly translated means a person whose face resembles a horse face. Dr. Pillai was called as Andache Pillai. Balaji Pillaji Guru as Kuruvata. Tabolkar was christened as Hemat Pant. Madhav Fasle as Arthagandu. B.V. Dev as Sindhi Chor. Radha Krishna Mai as Avadasha, which means Tridevi, that is, the three forms of the Supreme Goddess are collectively known by this name. Likewise, Damu Anna was known as Kasarda, Mahal Sapati as Bhagat, which means a devotee, Baija Bai as Mamia, Chandorkar as Nana. Baguji Shinde was called as Bhagya. He was the devotee afflicted with leprosy, and the name Bhagya might sound as short form of Bagoji, but it means the most fortunate one. Then Kashiram Shimpi as Kashya, Fakir Baba as Bademia. Nulkar was known as Mahatara, Tukaram as Tukiya, Vamanrao Patel as Vamya, Lakshmi Bai Kaparde as Ajibai, which means an old woman. The list is never ending. Dumal and Purandare were called as Bao, as Baba always called them lovingly by various nicknames. This gave rise to a cordial and loving relationship to exist between Baba and his devotees. Thus, Baba maintained a close contact with all his Ankitas. Now, coming back to the original thread, let us see how Kaka's maid servant, who is none other than Gaga Sahib Dikshit's servant, is going to unfold the hidden connotations of the Isha Vashya Upanishad to Dashganu Maharaj. Though Baba uttered these words jovially, they always carried profound meanings and can never be meaningless. Hence, Dashganu ignored others' feelings and was certain that the words of Baba are supreme truth. After having darshan of Baba, Dashganuji left for Ville Parle, Mumbai, to stay at Gaga Sahib Dikshit's house. Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji states that Dashganu Maharaj has been ranked first among Baba's apostles, and the next would be Nana Sahib Chandorkar. Dashganu's frequent kirtans throughout Maharashtra had drawn thousands of devotees to Baba and have subsequently visited Shiradi and made Baba their own lifelong possession. Such a towering personality he was, despite his shortcomings. Dashganu will be ever remembered for his great literary works, Harikathas and poems on Sai Baba, and even Shiradi Arati includes several verses from his poems which have a greater impact in the hearts of the devotees and will continue to give peace and divine joy to all those who sing them with religious fervor. All the eminent devotees of Baba showed due respect to Dashganu Maharaj and regarded him well whenever he visited them. Now, when he went to Gaga Sahib Dikshit's house, he was given a comfortable place to stay and was taking rest in a room. That night passed away peacefully. Next day morning, when he was still on the bed, half asleep, he heard a melodious voice and it was very soothing. He wondered who that could be. She was a small girl and her composition was appealing. She was trying to describe the beauty of the crimson-colored saree which had lace borders and embroidery work. Now, Dashganu Maharaj was fully awakened. He was listening to it in rapt attention and was enjoying it thoroughly. Dashganu Maharaj came out of his room and saw that the song was sung by a young girl. She was cleaning the vessels and was wearing a torn rag on her person. On seeing her impoverished state, Dashganu Maharaj felt pity on her. Devotees, we have heard that Dashganu Maharaj himself was a great Kirtankar. He has composed nearly 1.5 million poems, and even the Arati song sung at Shiradi has a small portion of his composition, such as शिरडी माझे पंढरीपूर साई बाबा रामावर साई रामावर साई बाबा रामावर शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्र बागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा पुंडलिक जागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा याहो अवघे जन कर बाबा सी वंदन साई सी वंदन कर बाबा सी वंदन गनुमहने बाबा साई दाव बाव माझे आये बाव माझे आये दाव बाव माझे आये. And another masterpiece which have already attracted millions of Sai devotees is साई रहम नजर करना बच्चों का पालन करना जाना तुमने जगत पसारा सब ही झूठ जमाना साई रहम नजर करना बच्चों का पालन करना. मैं अंधा हूँ बंदा पका मुझको प्रभु दिखलाना साई रहम नजर करना बच्चों का पालन करना. दाश गनु कई अब क्या बोलो तक गई मेरी रसना साई रहम नजर करना बच्चों का पालन करना. Through these great compositions, Dashganu has drawn lakhs of people to Sai Bhakti and will be endeared to the heart of new devotees as he is to the existing. Dashganu himself was a poetic genius with a fine metallic voice that would hold thousands spellbound in rapt attention, and if such a great Kirtankar was drawn by the song of the little girl, then one can imagine how melodious and captivating was her voice and song. Dashganu inquired Gaga Sahib Dikshit about the girl and was told that she was the sister of Namya, a servant of the house. Dashganu Maharaj felt pity looking at the torn rags worn by the little girl, and the next day another devotee of Baba by name Rao Bahadur M.V. Pradhan came to meet Dashganu Maharaj at Gaga Sahib Dikshit house at Vileparle. As mentioned earlier, the ardent devotees of Baba had high regard for Dashganu. Hence, when he came to meet him, he brought a pair of dhotars. Just then, Dashganu Maharaj requested M.V. Pradhan to give a sari to the poor girl in torn rags, the maid servant of Gaga Sahib. Rao Bahadur bought a small sari known as chirdi and presented it to the little girl. One can't imagine the joy of the little girl. She felt extremely happy. She whirled and danced round on receiving this gift. Seeing her merriment, Dashganu was wondering, is this the girl Baba meant as maid servant of Gaga Sahib Dikshit? Should I initiate the conversation with her and get clarification for my doubts, or will she on her own speak out something that would clear up my doubts? The next day, the little girl wore the new half sari gifted by M.V. Pradhan, and her happiness was in par to that of a starving person served with delicious dishes to eat. She has never worn a new dress, hence, her joy knew no bounds. She went and played a game called as Fugadi with other girls and excelled them all. Dashganu Maharaj was witnessing her joy and was so happy to see her dressed up in new clothes. There is no difference in Dashganu Maharaj's plight. These scenes have not thrown any light to his doubts. The following day, the same girl came to do her chores, but today she was wearing her old clothes and kept the new one safely at her home. Although she wore the torn rags, there was no difference in her attitude. She was merrily singing a song and continued her errands. There was no difference in her emotions. She was very cheerful, just the same way as she was the previous 2 days. Now Dashganu's pity was turned into admiration, and he began to contemplate on the behavior of the little girl. Yesterday, she was wearing a new sari and was expressing her joy by singing and dancing. Today, she kept the new clothes safely at home and wore the old rags. Still, she is cheerful and her heart is overflowing with joy, which is reflecting in her beautiful songs. This gave him the insight that a man ought to enjoy whatever God has bestowed on him in the firm conviction that he besets everything from behind and before and on all sides, and that whatever is bestowed on him by God must be for his good. In this particular case, the maid servant was in an impoverished state, so she was gifted with a half sari. The donor was M.V. Pradhan, receiver was the little girl, and her joy were all parts of the Lord and pervaded by him. Thus, at Ville Parle, in Gaga Sahib Dikshit's house, Dashganu Maharaj got a practical demonstration of the lesson of the Isha Vashya Upanishad by witnessing 3 different situations encountered by the maid servant. First day, the little girl was wearing torn rags, but she was joyful. Second day, she was wearing the new clothes gifted to her, and she was merrily dancing. Third day, the girl kept her new sari at home and was in torn rags, yet she was cheerful. In this manner, the elucidation of the Upanishad, the lesson of contentment with one's own lot in the belief that whatever happens is ordained by God and is ultimately good for us. So, a person's happiness does not depend on material possessions, nor money or power, as they only give a temporary joy and can never substitute happiness. This truth has been imparted to Dashganu Maharaj through the maid servant by Sadguru Sainath Maharaj. As per the first verse of Isha Upanishad, Om Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunchita Ma Gradda Kashya Viddanam, which means everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his share, and one must not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. So, for Dashganu Maharaj, it was very difficult to elucidate on the verse that God pervades even on inanimate things. He was striving hard to convince the readers as he himself was not assured of these thoughts. Dashganu also had some other concerns. Devotees, unless I share those details with all of you, you might not get the essence of this practical demonstration that was witnessed by Dashganu as ordained by Sadguru Sainath Maharaj. These details are not found in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, hence I request the devotees to pay their keen attention and heed to these wonderful connections. In fact, every Upanishad has a Shanti mantra, that is, the invocation. Likewise, the Shanti mantra for Ishavasya Upanishad goes thus: Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udayachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyaste. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The meaning is, the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as a complete whole. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete by itself. And because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Now, Dashganu Maharaj could not accept the truth that this phenomenal world are perfectly equipped as a complete whole, because this is contradicting to the principle of Sri Shankaracharya, which Dashganu strongly accepts and believes. The entire message of Vedanta is summed up by Sri Adi Shankara in 3 crisp precepts. They are Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, and Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. The word Satya means that which exists in all the 3 periods of time, that which transcends time and is timeless. Brahma Satyam implicates that Brahma is real, but the world is an illusion. The Upanishads thunder that consciousness alone must be the first and eternal reality. Rest is created and is thus perishable. This is what is being revealed by this sutra. So, the challenging task for Dashganu Maharaj was to write a commentary that is contradicting to what he believes. He himself was not convinced on the thought that this phenomenal world are perfectly equipped as a complete whole, and even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Let us try to analyze this statistically. If you take away 3 from 7, what remains is 4. Or if you take away 7 from 7, the remainder is 0. Then how can we prove that taking away a part from the whole will not deduct anything from the whole? It sounds illogical and becomes difficult to comprehend. Is there any possibility to prove the same spiritual truth through scientific approach? Yes, there is something known as Theorem of Infinity. Infinity represents something that is boundless or endless. If you minus infinity from infinity, what remains is still infinity. So, as per this rule, this phenomenal world are perfectly equipped as a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him. He remains the complete balance, is logically proved. But Dashganu Maharaj didn't have an exposure to this subject, hence he couldn't perceive the logic. So, then how was his doubts clarified? Here is the explanation. A lamp is lit and is glowing with full effulgence. Now, another lamp is lit with the help of the flame from the main lamp, and we have the second lamp glowing brightly. Under no circumstances this action would reduce the flame of the first lamp. Instead, the main lamp will continue to glow as before, and now both the lamps will provide light. Let me give another justification for this theory. Being affectionate to people is a part of human behavior, and this is vital as it brings people closer. For instance, I am being affectionate to a friend, and by being friendly and loving with another friend, my sense of love will not diminish. Instead, it is always complete. In both these examples, the lamp and love are related to the attributes of the Supreme Lord. One more reasoning can be given on this subject. A flowering plant can be taken as an example. A flower blooms in a plant which is complete. Then the plant gives another flower which is also perfect as the first bloom. So, the plant which is complete in all aspects gives out a flower which is also whole. Still, the completeness of the plant is never affected. Similarly, though the Supreme God has created innumerable worlds which are complete in all parts, His completeness will never have any variation and He will remain complete as ever. This is the core of this sloka, and Dashganu Maharaj has grasped the gist of it through the practical demonstration that he observed at Gaga Saheb's house in Ville Parle, that the Creator, the creation, and the created, all these three correlate with each other as they are all pervaded by the Supreme Lord, and this is quoted in the verse Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. Isha means God, Vashyam is dwelling, Idam this, and Sarvam means all. Therefore, the commentary is, in this material world full of things that appear and disappear, one should perceive and understand that even such worldly transitory things are filled in with the presence of Lord. Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. God pervades everything in this world. By so perceiving and feeling that, one can protect him from the bond of karma. One should always convince him that he has been provided by the Lord with all the necessary things for his existence. With that sort of contentment, one should try to avoid being greedy or jealous about others or others' riches. Thus, Dashganu Maharaj's doubts were clarified, and in fact, there are more interesting connotations to this Ishavasya Upanishad, which are mind boggling and very significant as they have many connections with the life of Sri Sainath Maharaj, though these are not cited explicitly in Sri Sai SATCHARITRA. We will heed to two philosophies as they hold greater importance. Scholars have divided the slokas into two parts. Out of the 18 verses of Ishavasya Upanishad, the first 16 explicates the values based on the path of life, and slokas 17 and 18 are the ones to be reminisced by a person at the time of death. And these two illuminates the greatness of Udi and highlights the importance of Agnihotram, that is maintaining the sacred fire which Baba maintained at Dwarakamai during his sojourn in Shiradi. So, the closing verses of this Upanishad also highlights the significance of Ishavasya Upanishad, and let us discuss more on these two slokas and their connections with Sri Sainath Maharaj in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.